Let us begin now. In the previous lecture, we did started with the paper of April 2019, March, April 2019, right? Now, in this paper, we have completed question number 1. In that, we had 3 short sums and 2 theory questions. And then we started with question number 2, and we almost completed it with just last point remaining. So let us complete that, and so that we can go to the next question, that is the option against question number 2. So here we need to pay to unsecured creditor whatever amount is left with in our hands. So creditors, unsecured creditors. Now whatever amount is left in our hands plus whatever pending amount we have to get from equity shareholders, that we have to give to the unsecured creditors. Now, just a reminder, in case you added outstanding interest on debentures, your answer will differ a little, but then that answer is also correct. I am going as per the university solution. Now, in case you write interest on debenture for 1 month, outstanding interest on debenture, for that calculation also full marks were given. So there is nothing to worry. Okay. So let us write what is the amount that we have to get from the uh, B equity shares. The second category of equity shares, B equity shares calls. Now, if you can see the question, the shares B, the second category of equity shares, the name is not given, but still, if you can just check, 9 lakh amount you received so far at 60 per share. So for 15,000 shares multiplied by 40, you can still get 6 lakh rupees. 6 lakh rupees. Now whatever amount you have on the receipt side minus whatever amount you are going to pay, total amount that you have, out of that you need to deduct the remuneration amount. Remuneration. So you will get the answer. Okay. So whatever amount you get is 102. Whatever amount you get as a balancing figure is 102. So 2 will be the 2% remuneration, which will come out as 65,750, and the amount that you'll pay to unsecured creditors will be the last amount that is in your hand now, 32,87,500. That's the example question number 2. You can just check again later. In case you don't get this answer, let me know. Okay. So the total is 73 lakhs. Okay. So that's the point here, and that's the sum. We move to the next example. The option of this question, that is question number 2. Okay. So I go on to page number 17 on Jamboard. You can start solving this example. Question number 2, optional sum. Let us begin. Now here they've said there's a balance of rupees 1,90,000 with the creditor with the liquidator after payment of all liabilities. This includes cash of rupees 10,000. Cash of rupees 10,000. So all in all, the balance is given to you, and these are the payments that you are going to make. Some of them you already paid, some is yet to be paid. So there is a balance of 1,90,000 after payment of all the liabilities. So liabilities are paid in all. So fully secured creditors are paid, preferential paid, debenture paid, other unsecured creditors. Then you have two share capitals. So now the point is remuneration is paid 1% on the amount realized by the liquidator and 10% on the amount paid to equity shareholders. In addition, liquidator also gets remuneration on amount distributed to unsecured creditors. Preference shareholders get their capital with 1 year dividend and equity shareholders get 35% of their capital. So this is what they have said, and what you have to find is you have to find out the rate of remuneration on the amount to be given to unsecured creditor. Now they have not mentioned, they have just said that you need to give remuneration as certain rate whatever amount you pay to unsecured creditors. Read the line, liquidator also get a remuneration on the amount distributed to unsecured creditors. So we need to write everything, and in the end we need to find whatever remuneration is given is what percent of unsecured creditor. So let us begin. I just changed the page on the Jamboard. Come to page number 17, I guess. 17 is the page number. So come to page number 17. This is March, April 2, 2019, and we are doing sum number question 2A. This is optional sum. Question 2 against the option question 2A. Now let us begin with the solution. Now, first of all, you need to just go for whatever information they've given and to find what is the amount that you will have to make all the payments. Okay, so let us begin. First, we start with the balance itself. The balance in hand is whatever is left after making the payment is 1,90,000. Now, out of this 1,90,000, you had opening cash balance, of 10,000. So effectively your closing balance, I mean whatever is left from the money is 1,80,000. And if you add the amount that you have paid to debentures and other creditors, now come to the question and check what amount you are paying to debentures and creditors. 70 plus 50 plus 50 plus 30, that is 2 lakh. The total amount that you are going to pay to creditors, all the liabilities, that is debentures and all kinds of creditors, total comes out to, see, basically what we are doing is we are going upside down. See, generally what we do is in this type of sum liquidator example, we tend to first find out what is in our hand and making the payment, and we get balance in hand. Now here they've given you balance in hand and you add what payments you have made, so you get the answer of assets realized. We start from the assets realized generally. Okay, here we are not starting with assets realized, we are starting with the balance in hand. We added whatever payments we have made and then we have found out assets realized. So this is assets realized, right? So asset realized plus the cash balance will tell you cash on hand, whatever cash you have on hand, total amount of cash that you have. So opening cash balance, first we deducted to find out asset realized, now we again add back, so we can come to know how much amount of money we have in our hand. Okay, it will be 3 lakh 90,000 available balance. So we have 3,90,000 in all. Okay. Now we get the payments to be made. This is the amount that we have in our hand. Now we check whatever payments we have to make. Payment to be made. Payments to be made. Okay. So we go in our order itself, right? So total unsecured we have found out 2 lakh. So paid to all the liabilities. So liabilities 2 lakh. Liabilities amount is 2 lakh, right? Then we give the money realized. So 1% on assets realized. So assets realized we found out 3,80,000. Just now we have found out the assets realized. Just see the red color tick mark. We have found out. So 1% of 3,80,000 is 3,800. Okay. I hope you are able to follow me. Then we have to pay 10% on the amount paid to equity shareholders. Okay. 10% on equity shareholders. We are talking about all the remunerations together. 10% on equity share capital. What amount of capital we are returning? See the question. We are going to pay 35% of the capital. 35% of 2 lakh is 70,000. 70,000 multiplied by 10%. It is clearly mentioned that out of 2 lakh you're going to pay 35%, and 35% will be 70,000. Multiply 70,000 by 10%, you get the amount of 7,000. Similarly, you're going to pay preference uh, uh, remuneration on preference. No remuneration on whatever amount you're paying to preference. So just preference capital. Preference capital. Preference capital you're going to pay 1 lakh. Then you're also going to pay preference dividend. Preference dividend. What will be the preference dividend? They have said uh, for preference dividend, they have said with 1 year dividend, 6% of 1 lakh will be 6,000. 1 year dividend will be 6,000. Okay. And then you're going to pay to equity shareholders 70,000 as per the order. So you're going to pay 70,000. So total of this, all the payments, we have found out whatever amount we had in our hand, and here is the total amount. Do the total of all the payments. Just do the total of all the payments. Total of all the payments is total is 3 lakh 86,800. Okay. Now you have total in your hand 3,90,000. 3,90,000. So the difference is what you're going to pay to plus 4%, sorry, plus that balancing figure, remuneration for unsecured creditors. Remuneration for unsecured creditors. Now the difference of the two comes out to 3 lakh 90 minus 3 lakh 86,800. The amount comes to 3,200. So what you need to check is that if unsecured creditors, come back to the question again, just check what is the amount of unsecured creditors. Preferential creditors is also unsecured creditors, so 30 plus 50, 80,000. So if 80,000 is unsecured creditors, this is unsecured creditors. The remuneration is 3,200. This is the remuneration. So if your unsecured creditor is 100, then what is the remuneration amount? So you'll get the answer 4%. This is what they expected from you out of this example. Got it, all of you? Have you understood the question? I hope you're doing this sum alongside me because this is going to help you when you solve the sums in your exam. These are all important university sums that we are doing just now. So I just hope that you people are active while we solve the paper and we try to get to the answer. Shall we go ahead now? Completed all of you? Okay. Now just check the option. I mean, question 2A we have completed. Question 2B is theory. Question 2B is short notes. Okay. Short notes. You need to write on stockbroker for 3 marks and for difference between public and private company 4 marks. So again 7 marks. So you can, if you are going to attempt this question along with theory, just check the amount of theory increasing in your paper. First you had 4 marks in question number 1, then you are again having 7 marks here, and then so 4 plus 7, 11, plus you are going to have 12 marks separate theory question, compulsory question. So in all, if you go as per this track, that is attempting a question which has theory, question 2, then in that case you will be having a theory in all total for 23 marks, I guess. So 23 marks out of 50, that shows that there's so much theory involved. So never ever ignore theory for accounting subjects. They really help you to score more marks in the accounting paper. So make sure you attempt theory questions, preparing well and writing well in exam. Okay. So let us go ahead with the question 3. Now question 3, balance sheet of B Limited is given. So this is going to be a sum of absorption. Only one company is given, so it is quite obvious. Absorption sum. Now for purchase consideration, they have given shares given, equity shares, preference shares are given, and then you need to prepare realization account, preference shareholders account, A Limited, that is a purchasing company account, equity shareholders account, and bank account. And also you need to pass your entries in the books of A Limited. So it's a very similar sum or standard sum, we can say, that is asked in university exam again and again. So you can expect similar sum. So let us start with the uh, are you able to see the sums properly on Jamboard? Is the name of the file on Jamboard is SY revision. You can just paste the link of that Jamboard in the chat box so that others who are new can just have a look at it. Okay. So anyways, let us continue with the question number 3. Question number 3, the first option. Let us begin with it. Now, just have a look at the question and see whether they have given purchase consideration directly or indirectly. See, they have given the fourth of purchase consideration was satisfied by allotment of fully paid preference share at par, which carried 12% dividend. One half of purchase consideration was paid in the fully paid equity shares and the balance in cash. So whenever they use the word balance, you're not given the full amount of purchase consideration, and they've given you parts of how the purchase consideration is made. Then you need to go first with the finding the net assets to know the purchase consideration. So let us start with the new values, finding purchase consideration. So give the heading calculation of purchase consideration. Assets taken over. Assets taken over. Goodwill. Goodwill. Check for the new values. If it is not given, then you can take old value. Goodwill. Land and building. Then comes plant and machinery. Please keep practicing sums, and in case when you repeat these sums before the exam, you can just check on Jamboard for any kind of problem you face while doing the sums yourself. Then comes debtors, 80,000. Then comes bills receivable, 65,000. Then comes cash, bank, 50,000. So the total of the payments that you're making is 12 lakh 50,000. The assets that you're taking up less liabilities. You have to take new values, 9% debentures, 1 lakh, creditors, 1 lakh 50,000. So total of liabilities taken over is 2 lakh 50,000. So your purchase consideration comes out to 10 lakhs. This is purchase consideration. Okay. Now we go to the next step, that is payment of purchase consideration. How the payment is to be made. So payment of purchase consideration. Payment of purchase consideration. Now let us go to the question and check how the pay. The fourth of purchase consideration. Fourth of means 1/4. So 10 lakhs multiplied by 1 upon 4, or 10 lakhs divided by 4. 2,50,000 is to be paid in form of preference shares. Half, that is one half, or you can call it half, 5 lakhs will be paid by uh, issuing equity shares, and remaining, that is 2,50,000, will be in cash. So that is what we need to do. Let us do it. So 25%, that is you can say fourth, in form of 12% preference shares. That amount comes out to be 2,50,000. Then comes 50% as equity shares. 50%, half they've said, that is 5 lakh. And the balancing figure, balance in cash. Total, it is 10 lakhs. So the balancing figure will come out to 2,50,000. This is what we need to do before we can actually start with either preparing accounts or entries on anything as such. Clear? All of you got it? Any doubts in calculation now, purchase consideration? Now, I hope you all have the confidence of finding purchase consideration for any of the examples. It may be either direct or it can be indirect. Okay, so you can start preparing accounts. Let us start. If you're not on the correct page, you may not find where I am writing. So make sure you're on the correct page. You have to go on page number 18 now, because there I'll be continuing with the accounts. Okay, so let us begin. Let us continue with the accounts that you need to prepare. I'll be little faster because we are running short of time solving these examples. So let us quickly prepare all the accounts which they have asked. They want us to question 3, realization account, the maximum, or you can say the biggest of all. So you need more lines for this. Then you will have preference shareholders account, preference shareholders account. Then you prepare equity shareholders account. Okay. Then the last one they want us to prepare is bank account. So, and also one more they said, this is, I think A Limited was the one they wanted, the one who is purchasing the business of B Limited. So yes, A Limited is one of the accounts you need to prepare. So that's it. Start with transferring the balances. So preference shareholders have the balance. Preference shareholders preference capital will be transferred here. Preference capital of 2 lakh. Okay. Then bank will also have its opening balance to balance. If bank is taken, then there won't be any balance. So no balance. Bank is also taken by A Limited. Equity shareholders will have some balance. So that is equity capital transferred to equity shareholders account. Equity capital 5 lakh. Then general reserve, whatever balances of reserves you find in balance sheet, general reserve 1,20,000. And then you have P&L account 80,000. Okay, this is what you have. Now started transferring assets and liabilities to realization account. Now you need to take old values because you are going to prepare all these accounts in the books of. You can just want, if want to write, then please write. You are preparing all these accounts in the books of B Limited. So everything will be written in terms of old values because books of B Limited are being closed. So B Limited will write everything in old values, that is original values. So to goodwill, whatever you have in the balance sheet, just transfer it here. For all the assets and liabilities taken over, original values will be written. Plant and machinery 3,15,000. Then you have stock 2,20,000. Then comes debtors 90,000. Then comes bills receivable. Then cash in bank 50,000. Then that's it. All the assets taken. Now liabilities, for whatever liabilities they were taken. Debentures 1 lakh by creditors. Creditors 1,50,000. Then that's it. Now we record purchase consideration by A Limited. Purchase consideration. So in A Limited by realization purchase consideration amount 10 lakhs. Okay. Two, in whatever form you are receiving it. So to preference capital, preference capital sorry, I made a mistake, extremely sorry. On the debit side, sorry, to realization for getting the purchase price due, purchase consideration due, and receiving by preference preference capital. You're going to get 2,50,000. Then by equity capital 5 lakhs, and then by cash 2,50,000. That's it. That's the purchase consideration that you're going to receive. Close it. 10 lakhs. Now transfer these entries into respective accounts. So to A Limited in bank account, right? A Limited 2,50,000. In preference shares, you write to A Limited 2,50,000. Okay. And to A Limited in equity shares 5 lakhs. Okay. So we have written all the transactions that we needed to write. Okay. Now it comes to just closing the accounts. We have written everything. So first we start with the preference capital itself. Preference capital. See, on one side you have 2 lakh, on the other you have 2 lakh 50. So you are getting a profit by realization 50,000, and close preference capital. Transfer this profit to preference shareholders 50,000. Okay. Then you're also making expenses on realization. So to bank expenses 10,000, posting it in the bank account. By realization expense 10,000. Okay. So that's it, I guess. Just complete the accounts. First we find the profit or loss of realization. There is a profit of 40,000. So to equity shareholders, balance of realization 40,000. Close the realization account. Total will be 12 lakh 50,000. Transfer the profit to equity shareholders to realization profit 40,000. Then you get the whatever amount is left in cash and bank account. So difference of bank will be transferred to equity shareholders account 2,40,000. The balancing figure. Close bank account 2,50,000. Done. Put the money in, give the money to equity shareholders to bank account 2,40,000. That's it. Total will be 7,80,000. By mistake, I've written on the debit side. Just write the profit on by realization profit. The profit is to be written on the credit side. So by mistake, I have written on debit. So the profit was 40,000. So now you can do the total and it will be 7 lakh 40,000 and it will get tallied. Your accounts are done. 7 lakh 40,000. Done preparing the accounts. Are you able to understand here? It's a kind of a repetition of all this type of sums they ask again and again in university exam. So make sure you don't lose marks here. Okay. Shall we go ahead with the remaining part of this sum? Have you completed this? Okay. We move on to the next. See, in exams, when you prepare the accounts, please prepare properly. Right now, we are practicing, so I'm doing the sums very roughly. So kindly use scale, pencil, and proper formatting of accounts. For instance, you need to write in realization particulars rupees. Similarly, in all the accounts, and draw proper linings with pencil and amount columns properly so that it looks pleasing to the eyes and you can get maximum marks whenever the examiner checks your paper. Will feel good checking your paper and he or she will give you whatever marks you deserve. There won't be any chances of missing some correct answers that you written in your solution. So by mistake also they don't uh, miss your solution some point in the solution. They may not cut your marks by mistake. So make sure you present your solution in the best possible manner. Okay. So let us continue and complete the remaining part, that is passing journal entries in the books of A Limited. Journal entries in the books of A Limited. I am doing it on page number 19, so kindly switch to page number 19. Okay, let us begin. Journal entries in the books of A Limited. Okay, let us begin. First journal entry. First entry will be for business purchase, or you can say purchasing of business. So entry will be business purchase. Business purchase, you are purchasing by paying a purchase consideration of 10 lakhs. So business purchase account 10 lakhs. Two, liquidators of B Limited. Also ensure you write narrations when you write journal entry. In case you are not doing it just now, that's okay, but make sure you don't forget in exam to write the narration for all the journal entries. Otherwise, you may lose marks here. Second is for getting the assets and paying the liabilities. So here you're going to have to write all the assets, and then if you get the amount of goodwill, then you have to write goodwill in case they give it indirectly. So need to find it. Land and building. Now here you have to write new values, right? You need to ensure that you write new values. All the new values that you wrote when you calculated purchase consideration. Debtors. This is here. Then cash and back. Two, whatever liabilities taken up. Two, 9% debentures. 1 lakh. Two, creditors. Two, business purchase. 10 lakhs. Done. Now, regarding the payment, how the payment is to be made. So third entry, the payment is to be made through liquidators of B Limited. Debit 10 lakhs. You are making the payment in the form of two preference shares. Preference shares of 5 lakh. Sorry, preference shares were for 2 lakh 50,000. 2 lakh 50,000. Then equity share was for 5 lakhs. Equity shares 5 lakh. And the balance, that is 2 lakh 50,000 in the form of cash. So to cash 2 lakh 50,000. Done. So this sum was for 14 marks. As you can see, it was very easy example, and I hope you have understood examples. Right now, if you are regular throughout the practice of university papers, you must have realized that the subject is very easy and very scoring. Right. So don't lose marks by not preparing. If you practice for at least an hour daily, or maybe 2 days, I mean 1 hour for every 2 days, then definitely we'll score good marks for this subject, that I guarantee you. Right? So make sure you give time for practicing the sums. Okay. We'll be continuing the remaining part in the